and welcome back on The Talking Therapist. Today we are going to be discussing about how to stop a crying spell. But before going ahead, let's understand when does crying becomes an unhealthy response. What is the line after which crying is something that you should seriously think about, that why is this happening. So crying is a very natural and normal reaction to unfortunate situations that might happen in your life, bad situations or something that had really hurt you. So all of us have cried at some point or the other, right? There might be very few people who have never cried in their entire life. So then when does it become malfunctional? How does it become dysfunctional that we have to think about how to treat it? So we say that a crying spell is something unhealthy, and the major demarker of that is the duration of the crying spell and if the person is crying due to no apparent reason. So there are two possibilities over here. The first possibility is that there is no reason why the person is crying. The person just wants to cry, just feels like crying and can't stop it, and then goes on to cry for an hour or 2 hours or probably even more than that. The second situation is that let's say that something unfortunate did happen, something did happen that upset the person, but then it's not in proportion to the length and the duration that the person is crying for. So let me give you an example. So if I have lost a loved one, me having repeated crying bouts is, I would say, a normal process of grieving for that person and a normal journey that I have to take. But on the contrary, if I am crying for such a long duration because I did not get to buy something that I wanted to buy, that would become an unhealthy response or a disproportionate response to the situation. So now that we know a bit about crying spells, let's understand how they can be a problem. So first and foremost, needless to say, when you are crying, your entire body is going through a lot. So after you cry for a lot of time, your head starts aching, you start feeling weak, you start feeling fatigued. So definitely on a biological level, crying spell is definitely something that takes a lot of tax. And on an emotional and a mental level, it's a constant low state of mood that you are in. And nobody likes crying, right? Have you met anybody who says that I like crying a lot because it gives me happiness? I don't think you will ever meet somebody like that. So on an emotional level, crying definitely takes a toll, and on a physical level, it takes one as well. So now let's move on to understand what can be certain steps that you can take, or you can tell your close person or your friends or family member who is having a crying spell. What are the steps that you can take in that situation that will help you to stop the crying spell, that will help you to reduce the duration, the intensity and the frequency of the crying spell? Let's go. Alright, so the number one thing that you need to do is now going to sound, trust me, it's going to sound a bit counterproductive when I say it out loud, but give it some time and hear me out. The first technique that will help you to get rid of a crying spell is to let yourself cry. Let yourself get it out of your system. Most of us carry around this whole load of emotions that is just bubbling inside, and then there are these situations when it comes out, right? So when it is coming out, it's important to give it a voice. It's important to let it flow. So you can decide, you have to allow yourself to express whatever that it is you're feeling and go through that crying spell. Because the more that you will try to push it in, the more that you will try to not cry, somewhere else, sometime else, it will eventually find out a way and sneak up on you. So first, allow yourself to cry. And then the next step comes in a way that you set alarm clocks. So this is really something that has worked with one of my patients, that I told her that alright, we will set an alarm clock. Give yourself 15 or 20 minutes where you will allow yourself to cry, where you will allow yourself to express whatever it is that you're feeling. But after that 15 or 20 minutes, so after that alarm clock goes off, then we get up and we start taking steps to stop the crying. So what this does is it gives you a concrete and a tangible timeline where it's okay for you to express whatever you're feeling, but it also is a reminder that you can't go on like this forever. You can't go on like this for hours and hours together. So the alarm clock setting can be something that is on your discretion. You can keep it at half an hour, you can keep it minimum, I would say 5, maximum half an hour. Shouldn't go beyond that according to me. But the most ideal time to set an alarm clock in this situation would be probably 15 to 20 minutes, where you get enough time to just deload everything. Okay, after this first step has been done, the second step is to change the activity that you're doing, to get some kind of breather, to do something different, so that your mind is off of the thing, that whatever it is, the thing that has upset you. So changing of activity can include anything, practically anything. It could be watching a funny movie, watching the episode of your favorite sitcom. It could be calling somebody up. It could be painting, dancing, going out for a walk, spending time with your pets, meeting your friends. Really, literally anything around the sun. So there was this patient who I had who loved gardening, and it turned out that gardening, when she started having a crying spell, really helped soothe her, and that really went a long way in reducing her crying spells in the long run. So definitely engaging in activities that give you happiness, that will take your mind off of the crying, is the second technique that we discussed. The third technique is once again something very, very obvious, very simple but very elegant, that is writing your thoughts out. Oftentimes when you are crying, when you are in that zone where you are just bawling your eyes out, at that moment stopping and analyzing what's going on up here is key in getting rid of the crying spell in the long run. Because like I have said in many of my videos, behind any emotion there will always be a corresponding thought. It's impossible for there to be an emotion without a thought that is existing along with it. So figure out what thoughts are driving you to the behavior of crying. What's going on in your mind, which is because of which you are expressing that emotion in the form of crying. So write those thoughts down. You don't even have to keep the page. If you want, you can throw the page away after some time, but just write it somewhere so it gets a bit of a concrete nature. So the third technique was writing it down and probably making a journal, maintaining a daily journal of thoughts. That would also be a great idea if you are somebody who has repeated crying spells. Alright, let's move on to the last and the fourth technique of this video, monitoring and challenging your thoughts. So once again, like I said, thoughts are the major prompters of emotions. Without thoughts, there would be no emotions. So once, let's say after writing down, you have figured out what thoughts are there in your mind and what thoughts are actually driving you towards the crying spell, then the step comes where you try and modify that thought. You try and question that thought and challenge it. I have already posted a video on how you can challenge your negative thoughts. I will add the link in the description, so don't forget to check that out as well. Now, because I am a practicing therapist, I know what are the ways that these techniques can help, but at the same time I also know what can be some obstacles while doing this technique. So when after I shared these techniques with one of my patients, and when I asked her in a later session that how is it working out for you, are you able to stop your crying spells with the techniques that we discussed? So what she said was that when I am crying, it doesn't even occur to me that, oh, I have to challenge these thoughts. I forget about it. I'm so engrossed in that emotion, or I'm so enveloped in that emotion of sadness that I forget to challenge them. So then we decided that we would kind of keep a reminder to her in her environment that you have to challenge your thought. And she was a very, very sincere patient, I must say, because she took the task on her mind and she really put her heart into it. So what she did was she printed out a poster which said, "Keep calm and challenge your thoughts." So after she pasted this poster somewhere around in her room, her crying spells actually stopped, and it was such a great news for me as her therapist and such a big relief that she was finally able to control her crying spells. So sometimes all you need is to put a bit of spice, a bit of a change on the existing techniques that you know. Figure out how a technique would be most relatable to you, how would that technique speak to you the most, and then add in those changes and then implement them. So I hope that this video is something that will give you an idea about how to stop crying spells, how to reduce the intensity. But at the same time, I will definitely say that if you are somebody who has repeated crying spells, in addition to this technique, you should definitely pay a visit to the psychiatrist. So most often crying spells is a symptom of mental health disorders like depression or anxiety or bipolar disorder. And in those situations, just these techniques will not help you. You will have to take medicines, you will have to take routine therapy. These techniques will be like something of a supplementary thing to you in that journey. Alright, so I hope that this video was helpful, and if it was, don't forget to share it with your friends and hit the subscribe button as you go, and definitely keep coming back to my channel for more content about psychology and mental health. I am your talking therapist, and I'll see every one of you next time. Take care. Bye.